Okay, so that sort of brings me to my summary and recommendations. And first we're going to talk to beginners. Now actually I have three kinds of beginners in mind. The first kind of beginner, that is a beginner with limited time and no interest in learning web design. Now, before I give you the obvious answer, this is a perfectly rational place to be, right? Your time is limited. You want to spend it doing what you do in order to make money. You don't really have time to learn to be a web designer, only to forget how to be a web designer and then have to learn how to be a web designer again the next time you want to make changes to it. So it's absolutely rational for you to decide that that's not something you want to do. And when you're in that case, you need to accept the limitations of that position, right? Since you're not going to become a web designer, since you're not going to learn web design, that means the things that you can do for yourself are limited. And that means you're either going to accept a child theme primarily for what it is, or you're going to hire someone else to make design changes to the child theme for you. And for that kind of beginner, the quickest, easiest way to a polished looking website is Genesis, hands down. And for many of my members, that's my recommendation to you. If you are coming to this process wanting to build, needing to build your own website, needing to be in control of it, but not wanting to, but having a limited amount of time and really having no interest in learning web design, then I think Genesis is the right choice for you, especially if you can find a child theme that looks the way you want your site to look. Okay, so the next kind of beginner is one who has a limited amount of time but some desire to learn web design, and you have a child theme that is close. Then in that case, I would use Genesis, and then I would use a plugin to extend Genesis, like Dynamic, the Genesis Extender plugin, or my child theme editor plugin. Either way, you can take a child theme, and if it's close to what you want, makes minor modifications to it without having to learn a whole lot of stuff. You're still going to learn some stuff, but you don't have to learn a whole lot of stuff. And you can quickly come to, again, a polished looking site with a fairly limited amount of learning. Now, if you're a beginner and you're the hands-on kind of beginner with no knowledge of web design but a strong interest in learning how to build, maintain, style, change, create your own website, then that's a different kind of beginner, right? You're prepared to launch into this process of learning. So in that case, if you want to adhere to the WordPress way of doing things, then choose Genesis. And that's a perfectly rational place to be. Say, I want to learn how to build my own website. I want to learn how to customize it myself. And I want to do it the WordPress way. Then Genesis is the right choice. However, if you don't care about the WordPress way and you want to learn the easiest system with the greatest amount of flexibility, then you want to use Thesis because you really don't have very much you have to learn compared to customize your site with Thesis. There's still going to be plenty of time spent on it, but it's a lot less time learning how to use Thesis than there is going to be to learn how to use PHP and HTML and CSS to get the exact site you want. So if you're a hands-on beginner and an interest in learning and you want to do the WordPress way, use Genesis. If you don't care about the WordPress way, then it's going to be faster, easier, more flexible if you use Thesis.